Good morning everybody, how we doing? Welcome to Raymies garage. This morning we're going to be doing the rear pad change and disc change on this Range Rover L405. So let's get into that. So that's us got the wheel off. The disc got quite a big lip on it. The pads are not great, if you can see that in there. This obviously has the brake actuator on it, the back here. So we'll need to take that off, and there's two ways to do this: via a tool to retract the piston and the parking brake, or we can use the gap tool, or we can actually use the vehicle and maybe try and cover that. Not had much success with the gap tool, I'll be honest with you. It's not my favourite tool at the moment. And here we have also the brake pad wear sensor on this side, which is plugged into this red cable. It goes up there somewhere, I'm sure we'll find that in a wee second. So anyway, let's get to it. I'll take the two caliper bolts off, these ones here and the caliper holder round the back, and we'll get the discs off and replaced. So one thing we need to do to do this is, we've got the jack under supporting the car, but the actual jack is sitting on the side step. I've already made this mistake once before. When you open the door, the side step's coming out, but the jack's on it. So what we need to do is to make sure we've got a jack stand under there, and we've also got the air jack supporting that, to allow us to take the hydraulic jack out, so as we can get in there to the driver's seat to try and get the caliper into service mode. So I'll just turn this down. Okay. So I've got this brake sensor just loose here, so let's give the caliper a wee push and it should come off. I think I'll pull this off now. I've got a new one of these anyway. Now, if I remember correctly, these are quite awkward because I see there's a wee tyre up there holding that. There's a wee tyre up just holding on the electric motor for the parking brake. I'd like to get that. I suppose I'll get that off in a minute. So this is just to get the caliper out the way. I'll just clip that off. There we go. And I'll try and get the caliper up there out the road. Okay, sitting up there now. Here's our pads. It looks as if they're alright, but it was more the discs I was concerned about than anything. So I'm now going to take the caliper bracket, holding bracket on. These are 15mm, I think. Just like that one. Pretty tight. There we go. Yeah, because Loctite's probably on them. Get the top one now. There we go. That's the bracket off. What we'll do now is get the disc off. There we go. Slack. So that's that all off. I don't expect this to walk off, what did? There we have it. Certainly a big lip on the outside, big lip on the inside. So my usual, I'll get this cleaned up a wee bit and maybe give it a wee quick coat of paint to try and stop any rusts that's on there, to freshen it up a bit. So what I'm going to do is try and take this back plate off here, and in order to normally get the back plate off you have to extract this hub, but what I'm going to do is cut it here and here and just slide it off with a bit of luck, because I believe the new ones for the front certainly are split to allow it to come off the wheel. Yeah. Okay, so I'll get something to just cut it there, and put it back on. So, a wee bit easier than the air-powered rubbish tool. So that should come off like that. I'll tidy that up. That allows me to clean all this in here before we fit the new disc and pads. So that's us about complete here. We've got this all painted and off. I put a bit of copper grease on there. We've got our connection for our parking brake, and we've got the new brake pad wear sensor here, which we've fitted up in there. It's not that difficult. So I'm just going to put the caliper bracket on now, and we'll get the caliper back in. Probably need to wind that back a wee fraction. We'll get this on, get it greased up. We've already put new grease in the sliders, so they slide nice and easily, although they were okay, but it's fine. So we'll get the bracket back on again, start to rebuild this.
I was up at scratching my hands again. See it all? See it all there?
Alright.
And in the middle, see it?
So this is where we're at after an hour or so. So I'm about to put the caliper back on again, and I can't get the caliper piston retracted. I haven't got the right adapter for my retracting tool. and we do have problems getting into service mode. However, here's was my solution. Here's the caliper, and I cannot get the piston retracted, so I thought I'll take the caliper off and see if I can get it retracted. And when I took the caliper off, I then discovered that this actuator is actually all cracked. Although it still works, but still trying to get this back. So I had an idea. This is another caliper we got from apprentice Pat's car, and luckily enough it's the right hand rear one. And the problem I've got with that is I put it all back on again, the actuator's fine, is that when I took the bleed nipple out it was very, very tight. Now I can't get the bleed nipple back in again, and its piston's retracted right back. So I've tried to run a wee tap down there, but it will not take a bleed nipple. I've tidied up the threads, but I think the threads are knackered on it. So that's where we are. I didn't want to video all that because it was a bit of faffing about there, but what I need to do now is I'm going to take this actuator off and I'm going to try and get my own piston to go back. So that's me got the piston out, the caliper. Doesn't look great, I'll be honest with you. A wee bit of scoring on that. What's more worrying than that is, I don't know if you can pick that up, there's scoring in there. So I think I'll get new calipers. These are a bit fecked, shall we say. But that allows me to get the, if you've never seen inside a caliper, this screw goes in here, driven by the actuator, and it's screwing in and out to push the piston in and out. So I'm going to try and put that back together, push the caliper, or push the piston right in, put these seals on, it'll tidy it up a wee bit and get it back on the car. But I think I'll go for new calipers, they're not that expensive. So that's me got the caliper back fixed, the actuator's on, the piston's right back. I've now got an operating bleed nipple. All I need to do is mount it, get the banjo on, let it bleed, and we'll get it back operational. What a bit of a nightmare that is. However, we'll crack on. So that's us all on. We've got everything back together again. Got the banjo on. I've left the lead nipple out. I'm going to just let it gravity bleed for gravity bleed words for now. So we'll get some stuff coming out here. I've got my actuator powered back on again, and all we've got to do now is put in our sensor. I'll do that at the end. So I'm just going to let that run for 10 minutes and gravitate and fill the caliper. Meanwhile, I'll check the reservoir for the, make sure it's at the right level. Okay, that's us. Everything's back together. Brake pad wear sensors in position. We've bled the brakes. Our caliper actuator is on. Everything seems to be working. We've reset the brakes back to normal mode rather than service mode. Again, disappointed in the gap tool not doing that for me, but it looks fine. Just a bit worried about the state of that piston in there, so I might be looking to getting new calipers for that. We'll see how they go. We'll see how it goes over the next week or so, but they're all working fine. We'll get the wheel back on again, and that's us. Then we'll move on to the other side.